Good day and welcome again to 5 Minutes Sunday School Lessons. We started lesson 3 last week with the topic Priests Represent God Over His People. We looked at two priests who served just after Aaron, Eleazar, Aaron's son, and Phinehas, his grandson. We learned that God created the priesthood in such a way that priests are replaceable. Eleazar replaced Aaron, and Phinehas replaced Eleazar. This week, our subtopic is Before Solomon's Temple. We shall also look at two priests who served before Solomon built the temple. Solomon's temple brought an end to the existence of the mobile tabernacle that was the place of worship at the time Aaron was ordained priest. Hence, the temple is significant in the history of Israel's worship of God. Abiathar and Zadok served as priests during King David's reign, at which time the Ark of Covenant had been separated from the tabernacle. Their service as priests just preceded the building of the first temple by King Solomon. We will look first at Tabithas Deed. Following the allegations of conspiracy, King Saul killed 85 priests. He also went to Nob, the city of the priests, and massacred both humans and animals there. Quite unfortunate, but God allowed it. However, one of the priests escaped and fled to David in hiding. His name was Abiathar, a descendant of Eli. Abiathar found grace before God. He was spared for the continuity of the priesthood. He was later appointed priest along with Zadok during King David's reign. Abiathar was loyal to David, but we read in 1 Kings chapter 1 verse 7 that he later pitched his tent with Adonijah against Solomon during the struggle to succeed David as king. Solomon was God's choice and Abiathar was on the wrong side. As a priest, he failed to align himself to the will of God. Even after enjoying God's grace and goodness, he was deposed and someone else became priest in the royal court. God dealt with Abiathar for misrepresenting his eternal purpose and program. As God's priest, we should learn to discern what his will is and to follow it. God, our caller, can recall us whenever we refuse to align with his will. Now to Zadok's role. Zadok's story can be found in 1 Kings chapter 1, verse 8, 26, and from verse 32 to 40, and we can also find in chapter 2 from verse 22 upwards. Zadok had served as priest along with Abiathar during David's reign. They, however, differed in their choice of who would succeed David. In contrast to Abiathar, Zadok followed the will of God. His loyalty and integrity paid off. He became the priest of the royal courts. As we learned last week, God always has a replacement for an erring priest to ensure that there is no gap in his program, because his work must continue. Lessons derived. Two major lessons that we have learned from this particular topic is that we should never treat God's program with levity, and we shouldn't give it second place. And two, God rewards our loyalty to his will, and he punishes disloyalty. In conclusion, God is capable of representing himself, but he has chosen us to represent him. We must appreciate his special grace and represent him faithfully and effectively. The world must see God through us, and in our actions and speech, we are the epistles of the world today. Hope to see you again next week, and God bless you. Don't forget to click the subscribe button so that you can get notifications as soon as new videos are made. God bless you.